in the TMT database. You can create your own views and then label them. I have mine, so every time I'm showing you this, every time I click off and click back on to the views, because I have the G357 pin, it will disappear. My team stuff will disappear, and what you'll actually see is every time I come back to the page, it'll be the G357 view. So this is actually the me and my team view that is a standard view that's set up. I just created a new one and called it something that makes sense to me. Okay, so that's your landing page. The main navigation page for TMT is where I showed you that support. We are in Taskers right now. You can look across and the different areas of TMT, and if you do something that's quite routine and recurring, you can establish templates for those things. I do not, so therefore I do not establish those templates. And here you can see various, you were looking at taskers. I can look up dashboards. Dashboards are tied to the views. Again, more advanced approval requests, extension requests, and then some Helios here. I never use this. And then the actual users who are registered within TMT and the teams in TMT. And then various reports that are pre-canned that the system will give you. The one I find most useful is the TMT user activity. And what it does is generates a report. Tells me when the user was granted access and how often they look at the database, how many actions they have actually created, and then I can export this to Excel and get IMCOM-Pacific view this particular day. So here I am, and there's a couple other people, and Mark McClure's down here somewhere. But at any rate, basically what the report section does. Okay, so that's your overall navigation page. Okay, so any other questions with regard to the landing, your view, and then the navigation within TMT? Okay, hearing none, seeing none. So to get a new action in, you're gonna go to your landing page. You're gonna click on the new button, and a format or template will pop up. Okay, you can see it right here. It says new tasker. See a couple of sections with red asterisks in here. Every section that has a red asterisk must be filled in before you can move on to the next section. So we're going to do that now. And, I have a document that I prepared in advance, so I'm just cutting and pasting because you don't want to. I'm a bad typist, so you don't want to be sitting here as a straight through typing. So the suspense state is set at a 30-day window. You can move forward in time. You can move it back in time. You can move it way back in time. It is a database. A database will do exactly what you tell the database to do. It doesn't think things through and say, hey, that's incorrect. You're setting a suspense state that's past due. It doesn't do that. It'll do exactly what you tell it to do. Right? Time is a range of time. Time zone we have found is Central Standard Time, where the database resides. You can try to change it, and we have tried using this settings button. What our G6 has tried, and we have tried, and although it's put into the headquarters, the IMCOM-Pacific time zone, Hawaii, we find that it doesn't really make a difference. So we just ignore it and just drive on. This warning threshold is a value that's entered in hours, not days, not weeks, but hours. The warning threshold is when the system will generate an email to remind those you have assigned the action to that they have an action due within the next. The default is 3 days or 72 hours. If you typed in 3 days, you meant days, but you type in 3, it's going to ring in 3 hours, not 3 days. So this value has to be in hours. The default is 72. You can change it, but it has to be in hours. External tasking number or ID. Some of the garrisons use, especially for FCA's action. you can do that. I think Japan has a unique numbering system. I don't know what it is, but as an example, you can type something in there. Origin, this is not an asterisk field for IMCOM, but I would recommend using the IMCOM Pacific origin. That makes it easier for us to find when we send an action up to headquarters. If you leave it as local, like many of the other functions and staffs do, it gets kind of lost in the mess. If you put ID Pacific, I'm able to create a view that helps me filter down to ID Pacific. Classification system is rated up to unclassed PII. It does not do SIPR actions. Do not put SIPR in the field. Unclassified and unclassified FOUO changes the banner up here. When you move unclassified HIPAA, which is a health information items, and PII, personally identifiable information, you're going to notice that if I click on that, this is private box clicks. I'm going to take that off. I'm going to click PII. Same thing. It automatically clicks that, checks that box. And the is private, what it means is that only the people that you assign this action or task to will be able to see this. Nobody else can see it. So if you use it and you had checked is private, nobody but you and the person you assigned it to can help you. So if you do not need to make it is private, unclick the box. Do not check HIPAA or PII. Okay. Priority is a drop down. You can pick whatever you want from it. I pick routine for most of the cases. There are going to be some cases when it's not. Category, again, there is a whole bunch of different categories here. I typically pick staff action unless it's a bona fide G IMCOM says thou shall, and it falls into one of the G3 boxes of 1.0, FRAGO, OPWARD, or CTO task. Then action, again, drop down, pick the one that's most appropriate. I just pick appropriate action. Okay. In my instructions box, this is a critical piece of the TMT action that you are building. It tells people what it is, who the point of contact is, why it's important, what you want them to do, etc., and when you want them to do it by. Headquarters has pre-populated this with the things that they want to see. Now, we have seen actions going to headquarters that is not exactly in this format, and headquarters will reject and kick it back without any action because it is not fully formatted. The primary complaint that headquarters has is the number 6 assignment. We didn't tell them who at headquarters needs to work the assignment. So this part is pretty critical that you get it correct. Okay, so I inserted a test tasking that I had here. Oops. Okay, once all is done, all the asterisks are checked, and my instructions are complete, I'm ready to move to the next step. So notice that the document library right here, right now it's locked. It's not available to you until after you click save. So when you hit save, this thing will generate a action tracking number and will open your document section. I'm just waiting. The database has to validate my cat card every time I do something. Okay, so this task is now generated and created within the TMT database. The nomenclature up here is IMCOM. Notice a change from the action. So IMCOM 19 for the fiscal year, 05 for the month, 16 for the date, and a 4-digit alphanumeric tasking number. We are told that the TMT database can hold up to 6 million individual tasks per month. So there should be no fear of running out of tasker numbers. We will eventually migrate to the AMC database or AMC server. It used to be the 28th of May. Now it's been pushed back to the 7th of June. Once that happens, the IMCOM designator up front will change from IMCOM to AMC. All new tasks created in the TMT database for IMCOM will be AMC, new year, month, date, and then 4-digit alphanumeric. Until that happens, it'll be IMCOM. Okay, so once the action is saved, you'll notice that your document section is now open. As the initiator, the guy who created this task, I am posting my documents, whatever I need to load up, in the original section. There are 3 document libraries available. Okay? The initiator will post their things in the original. That is available to whoever you send the action out to, but they cannot post in there. They will need to post in supporting. So I will demonstrate that now. There are 2 ways of loading a document. One is to do the standard browse and upload. And I will pick this because I know it's there, and you upload, and the system will quickly load it and drop it here. The other way of loading it is by opening SharePoint. So there's a SharePoint option. And the reason I like the SharePoint option is because I can then click and drag multiple documents by just finding where I have them and dragging them over and popping it in there. So I put 5 more documents in there, and SharePoint is trying to load it. Now, I did do one by mistake on purpose. So on purpose, I put in a document with a title that has unrecognizable characters, special characters. So I expect SharePoint to give me an error message that tells me that the title is not good. I cannot load this. I will not be able to load it until I fix that title. So I believe it is a 22 character limit plus no special characters. It's waiting it to time out and give me that error message. And you'll see it display. There it is. Giving me a red X and you made a mistake. So it will not let me complete until I correct it. So here's the correction, and it is now loaded. So once it's loaded, I can close SharePoint. And what will happen is the document library should update. I will do a Control F5 to force it. The database will revalidate my CAT card. And then I'll scroll down here, and you should then see all 6 documents are now loaded within the original library, and there they are. Okay. Once that's done, I'm ready to, the task is ready to now be assigned to someone. So I will go ahead. The next step is to manage assignments. Okay, and in the manage assignments, this is like staffing in action, like a shotgun blast. So you send it, whoever you pick, you're sending it out to, it will shoot it all to those people at the same time. So we recommend sending it out to groups or teams, not individuals. Okay? The reason we recommend that is if you send out to an individual, it will be a single point of failure if that person is on leave or TDY or away from his office for whatever reason. There are some cases where it cannot be helped. Example is our special staff. So you see IDP EEO. We only have one. Doesn't make sense for the one person to have a mailbox. So it is by default the one person. And is that a single point of failure? Yes, it is. And we know that. Other sections you're going to see here have mailboxes. Say G357, for example, it goes to a group mailbox. Multiple people receive this particular action, and multiple people can then act on it. You see that IDP has most of ours in a group mailbox, except those that are one deep. So IR is one deep, etc. Some of the garrisons have not yet converted to mailboxes. Eventually, they will be. Okay? So I'm going to also break my own rule that I just told you by not sending it to an individual, but this is the test, and I want to be able to responses in the next section. So I'm going to be sending it to individuals on my team. How come I don't see Mr. McClure? Not in the right place. I am in the right place. Oh, you're gone, bro. We're all gone. What happened? My local users. Nope. I think there's a hiccup in the database. Okay. Let me try that again. Okay. Now it's working. Sorry, my phone's ringing. Alaska.
Hello. Please leave a message after the tone.
Okay. So there, I've added two more personnel, myself and Mark McClure, who's up on this webcast. The system also allows you to, so licensed users are the only ones that can access the database and manipulate anything in the database. But what the system allows you to do is load up external users. So these are unlicensed users, and you'll see there's a bunch here already loaded. These represent both IMCOM Pacific and IMCOM Enterprise in general. So external users are those users of the system. I've narrowed the search down to only IMCOM Pacific that do not have licenses, do not have access to the database, but the database, by virtue of having them here in as listed as external users, has access to them via Outlook. So if I add, for example, Mark Young, who also works in my section, as an external user, and you'll see him called out here as external. When I send this action over, the system will send two emails to Mark Young as an external user. The first is an email that notifies him that he has a TMT action as an external user. And the second email will be the actual action itself. All the my instructions and 6 documents that I hung will go to Mark Young via Outlook. Mark Young would then take the action that's required as stated in the my instructions that you can see right here, complete the action, and then send it back to one of the licensed users in G357. And those licensed users can then close that Mark Young out within the database. That creates an audit trail. I can then take the email that Mark Young gave me as an external user and load that into the supporting document sections to validate that Mark has actually completed the action and return it to me via Outlook. And that creates your audit trail so that if anybody should ask, did this in fact get done, you have the email. Okay, now that I have these 4 people assigned, I can then pick, are they going to be primary responsibility, coordinating responsibility, or just carbon copy CC the action? You notice that if I click on OPR or CC, the suspense date, the unique suspense date field grays out. That means they can't do anything with it. I can't do anything with it in terms of assigning them a shorter suspense. That's because if it's just carbon copy, there is no action for them. If they are the OPR, then they're tied to this original suspense up here, 1/4 of May. Okay, so I'm gonna CC Mark Young because he's an external, so I don't want to get overloaded with junk. So it's just going to send them an email saying, hey, you got a CC. Once I have this done right here, managing the assignments, I can then verify this is what I want them to do, OPR, OCR, and then I can either save it as a draft to send another day, or I can just send it. So what I'm going to do in the system will generate a task or an action out to those four individuals. So that the G357 box, and you'll see a ring right here in this lower right-hand corner. Outlook is telling me I got a new action, and that will be the end of how to create a new action. It's validating my cat card again. Some questions with regard to generating action. Oh, somebody new is in. Who's this? William Omar. Hey, there's a ring from Outlook telling me that I got action that's been assigned to G357. Okay, any questions with regard to creating a new task? I'm going to pause. Okay, not hearing anything about any questions of new action. I'm going to then move on to responding to an action, part 2. So I'm going to go to my view, my landing view, the G357. As I said, it defaults here. You will have your default, unless you change it, will be the active me in my teams. But mine is G357, so I'm going to flip it back. Okay, I'm looking for the new test action, and it is right here. These three lines. Let's see. Yes, these lines, because it's going to be G357 as the initiator. The reason it's doing this to me and Stu is because I own 3 groups, right? So I own myself, the G357, and the CTO. So it's going to show you that I initiated the action as a G357. I assigned it to G357 as the OPR, but I also assigned it to Stu Hayashi as the OCR. Okay. You know, I also assigned it to Mark McClure, so I can double check that it went to Mark McClure one of 2 ways. So I can see I'm in the wrong place. Go to my dashboards. Go to my dashboard. So dashboard, I can look at. I've set up individual views for all my team members, so I can see that this is the action I assigned to Mark McClure. He's a licensed user. Okay, so that's one way of validating that I did in fact send it to Mark McClure. The other way is for me to actually open this task, and I'll open it in the initiator, the G357 box. After it validates my cat card. Well, everybody wants a piece of it this morning. Okay. If I scroll down here to where it says tasker status, you see that I'm G257 is the initiator, the suspense date, and when it was assigned today at 2:01. It was assigned to the primary OPR G257 themselves. And then Mark McClure as an OCR, he's accepted, and Stu Hayashi as an OCR. He's assigned, not yet accepted. Notice that Mark Young doesn't appear because he was just CC'd. It was just a carbon copy for him, so he does not show up on this particular list. Okay, so I'm going to go in first, and I'm going to find my view, Stu Hayashi. So this is just the me. It's not the me and my team. It's just me, Stu Hayashi. So you see there is one action in here. So now we're getting to how to respond. To respond, you click on the action. And you notice the status bar up here changes, right? It adds, accept, reject, create reminder, generate. So this from generating a new task to creating or to responding, the selection boxes have changed. Okay, the primary boxes when you're working on responding with a task would be accept or reject. Do not press those buttons immediately. Okay, what you want to do is check the task first to make sure it is indeed yours. Right, so check what they're asking you to do. Right, check the supporting. I mean, check the original documents. There's nothing in supporting, nothing in final. Right? And if it is in fact your task, then go ahead and accept. The reason I tell you not to click that button right away is because once you make a selection, either you're going to accept it or reject it, the database will lock you in. That is your choice. You must carry out the action to completion. So if you accept it, you must finish the tasking. If you reject it, which is what I'm going to do, then you must insert a reason, right? The reason, the asterisk fields must be filled in. Again, if you say recommend the assignment, you can do that. I'm going to say other. I don't have to recommend an owner. And I will say spent. Okay, and once I do this, you notice it's active right down here. Oh, it just disappeared. This active will change from active to inactive. Okay, that's telling the database that I did something to this, and I'll scroll down to as soon as it validates. Authenticating me right now. Let me scroll down. And there's a tasker status, and it'll show you that I did take an action and I rejected it. Okay, so as far as the database is concerned, this is no longer an active action for this guy, Stu Hayashi. He rejected the task. Now, it does not delete it from the database. All it does is it pops it into my, so if I go to my inactive file, I got the last four. It's important to remember because it's 13. Nope, that's the wrong one. Okay, it's right down here. It was created today on the 16th, and I rejected it. So it threw it into my inactive file. So I can always go back and find those actions that I say are that I've completed, and I can still manipulate it by reopening the task. Okay, so in my active box, it should disappear. Okay, so there's nothing here for me because Stu Hayashi actually took action on that one task that he was assigned. So let me flip up to my G257 because there were two things that were in there, three things actually. So you notice that action we're working, Stu Hayashi responded. It fell out of the G257 box. Again, it only shows up there because I am related to all three groups, right? So right here is the primary OPR. So I'm going to show you the accept part. Why am I doing the accept and reject? Because when you scroll down to my instructions, I know I went really fast on that. You let the dogs out. And when I scroll down, it's going to say in the instructions, accept or reject. So I showed you how to reject it. Now I'm going to show you how to accept it. Okay? I'm going to accept. Database will validate. And I can scroll down. And I'll show you the updated task status. So now you see that Stu rejected, McClure also accepted, and for the primary OPR, it is in what they call coordination, OCR, which is really weird on how they do it. So I can look at the action. I can see kind of sort of what it wants, right? If it accept or if accepted, manage assignments, use G2F7 and McClure. Load a document so I can further manage assignments. And I can test this back to choose myself again. Because if I give it to McClure, he's just gonna reject it. Okay, so I'm sending it back to the guy who originally rejected it. Okay. See. I'm going to save it as a draft because what I want to do is include a supporting document. Yeah, the payment part is that it has to revalidate your identity each time, so it's sometimes it gets a little slow. So I have access to the original to check it out and look at it and what have you, but I cannot load. The load button is gone. It's grayed out. I can't load it up because I am not the initiator of the task. Yeah, so I can install a supporting document. Once again, I'll use the simple method. Simple method. I'll put an email in there. So it takes all kinds of files, you know, PowerPoint, Excel, Word documents, Access database, emails, etc., etc. Just load it up, and eventually somebody has to consolidate everything. Interesting. I don't know what happened to my email. I'm going to Control F5. Wow. Okay. And then I can put in a, again, the response section headquarters has pre-populated. I believe they pre-populated a section for actions going to headquarters because they want to know who approved the response. I particularly didn't care. I know who of us I've assigned it to, and I know who I can get it back from. So 257 retest to and then I can look down here. I can update my retasking. Interesting. Okay, I did not send it yet. That's right, I did not send it. Okay, so then I loaded my document and I have to resend it. That's important. Save changes. Anytime I type anything new, I have to save changes. Otherwise, it will not. They'll give you that that error message that says, "Hey, dummy, you did something. Save it before you send it." It didn't update the status because I did not send it. I remember I saved it. So now now that I've made all my changes to it, I'm gonna send it. And it says you've made changes only to the new guy. Yep, the new guy is Stu, so I'm gonna send it to that guy. And the database will then update and retask Stu Hayashi. So you're gonna see an email pop up that says, "Hey, G357 is tasking you again." And I'll show you how the database updated that. In the tasker status, you'll see that there's a little plus box right here next to the OPR. And my OPR G257, and I repassed it to Stu Hayashi, and it is assigned again. Okay. You do not have to keep doing that. I'm just showing you the capabilities of the database. You can respond And I could have said action has been reviewed and G257 concurs, action complete. Then I could have completed it out and it would be done. At any rate, that is how you respond to an action. And Mark McClure's dying for me to show you that he responded. So here's his response. And there's an additional message telling me I've been retasked again. Any questions with regard to responding to a TMT action? I'm going to pause. Okay, hearing nothing. Then we'll move on to the last part, which is how to, and you see that task came back again, assigned to me as the OCR. I'm going to move on to initiating a request for approval, task approval, or they call it a senior leader approval process. Acronym spells out SLAP. So I'm going to open the initiator since that's a big daddy for all these for all the taskings. And what I'm going to do is, you notice that again the wait for it to catch up. The choice boxes on the top have changed, and the reason it's not showing me a option for approval is because the database knows that there are subordinates that still need to work it. So this guy Stu Hayashi has not done anything with it. So if I'm going to move this on, and I will basically cancel this task for Stu Hayashi. The database will update and it'll open up the approval process. Oh, no, I inactivated it. I'm sorry. I have to reopen the task. Another good example. I can reopen task. Yeah, I did. I canceled the task by mistake, but it's okay. It's a teaching. It's a learning point. So I'm going to reopen this task. I accidentally closed it by canceling it. Comments. Reopen. I'm saying okay. The task is going to reopen. So you saw it went down to inactive. Now I put it back as active. And you notice that let me show you what I did. The database keeps track of everything that I do. Again, it's a good way to keep an audit trail of things that are going on in the database. And because it's tied to my CAT card, everything that I did to it, it timestamps with my CAT signature. So you see it was canceled. I canceled it. It also canceled when I did that. It canceled the additional task for Stu Hayashi. But then I reopened, so you'll see that it is reopened. And I reopened it so I could demonstrate the senior leader approval process. So that's right here, submit for approval. Big difference between submit for approval and manage assignments. Manage assignments, if you remember, I said it's a shotgun blast. Submit for approval is a sequential by stage. So we set up our own business rules here within IMCOM-Pacific for things that go to the command group or the director, deputy director, chief of staff. It is a single stage approval process. That is being done because the admin that controls the front office has directed or has requested, that they only get one single stage. The front office, the director, the deputy, the chief of staff, and the sergeant majors only deal with hard copy documents. So by having multiple stages, sometimes the action officer will bring the hard copy to the front before the electronic copy gets there to the admin folks, and they get confused. So they ask that we reduce their stages down to a single stage, SLAP, the senior leader approval process, and then everything else occur in the managed assignments. the system will document that, and then once that is done, the staffing is done, and it needs to go in for signature, then we initiate the single stage slap to the front office, and then the action officer delivers a hard package at the same time. So that is how they want to do things for the front office. What we do in G357 is a 3-stage slap. So the 3 stages that we have are basically for the boss. So I'm going to pretend, Stu Hayashi's boss is the chief of ops. So I can't do that. So I'm going to pretend I'm one of my own guys. And what they want to do is send it to the boss. So they would send it to Stu first. What I would do is do a review of the action to make sure that it is something that I want to, in fact, send in for the G3 actual signature. The second stage will be to my CTO group, the Central Tasking Office. They are the ones, Mr. McClure, he is the one who is responsible for final QA/QC of any IMCOM Pacific op ord, LOI, what have you, before the boss reviews and signs it. And the final stage is the G3 actual. Okay. So I've set up the 3 stages. I want Mr. McClure to concur, non-concur, and I want the boss to approve, disapprove. So why you see this drop-down selection box? What I failed to mention is these 2 up here, approve with release and disapprove, and approve with complete disapprove. We found that there's some kind of database glitch with these choices. They appear to be tied to a senior, bona fide senior leader who's licensed, in our case, not licensed in the system. So when we select one of these 2, the database goes loopy, and it locks up the approval process, throws it into some kind of do loop. So we tend not to use these. We use approve, disapprove, concur, non-concur, or if we're sending it to SJA, then sufficient, legally sufficient. Right? And we normally pick approve, disapprove for the last stage. Okay? You can establish an overall suspense. Notice that the suspense date is the 24th. That could have been the suspense date for your staffing, your shotgun. If there's not the bona fide hard suspense date, you can add that up here. And I'll say that the bona fide suspense date is actually the 21st. Set the time, I'll establish the time at 2:30. And for G3, and that's my instructions. And then I can then backwards plan. I know that I want his approval. It's due on the 21st of June. So I'll give him until 17th. Give some time to review, and then if he says no, this is hosed up, Stu fixed it, then he can send it back to me. Knowing that I gave him to the 17th, I'm gonna give. See, I need to give him at least a week to review it. So I'll give CTO a week to midnight, and then I'll give myself till the 24th. I'll give Stu the 24th to get it into CTO. Okay, so that's how you set up the stages. That's how you set up who you want to do what. I am not going to, once you're done and you're ready for this to go, you press the OK button and it'll send it'll initiate the slap. So I don't want to do that because then the boss is going to get a rubbish email. So I'm going to take him out. You can do that by deleting it. I can make stage 2. I can move stage 2 up if that's what I so desire. I can move that down. What I'm going to do is add a 3rd stage, and I'm going to put Mark McClure there. So Mark McClure is going to get this not once, but twice. I'm going to slap you. I'm going to slap you really hard. Okay, so I will give Mark, I'll pretend Mark is the G3 actually, give him the approve, disapprove. He's got payroll 17. I'm not going to be nice, he's got pay call 31. So once this is done and I'm satisfied, again, our template here is a 3-stage slap. Don't know what the garrisons will use or if the garrisons have established their process and business rules. If they have not, we'll see your G3, your DPTNS, and ask them, hey guys, how are we going to do this? I'll press the send button. Now that I know it's not going into my boss, so it's going to bother me and McClure, and I'm good with it. Okay, so once it validates my cat card, I'm going to show you what the database did with it. And I like this because Mark McClure can't touch it right now because it is sequential. I have the first stage, so until I take action, Mark can't do anything. Because he likes to kind of jump ahead. So I'll take you down to this tasker status, and you'll see that there's a new tree down here. It's in blue, right? And this is going to show you the stages. It is sequential. So you'll see that I am active. Stu Hayashi owns a concurrent non-concurrent action. And it's pending in stage 2 and pending in stage 3. The reason is because I have not taken action. If I ignore this until the suspense state, it cannot progress forward. I have to take action before it moves on to the next stage. Yes, we already went over that. Okay, so I'm going to actually open this. The approval route, they see a completely different view than the licensed user does. I'm going to show you that just so that they are aware. It's in blue. So it has to validate everything that I'm doing, but it shows you the different tabs, right? So it shows you the stages. It's me first, then IDP task management, then McClure. Shows me the documents, so the supporting document, the original documents, and you should notice how they're grayed out. The original is original is grayed out because I'm not the initiator. I can load in supporting, I can load in final. You can actually look at, trim down to the documents. You can look at the tasking details. Right? If there are consolidated responses, you can see them here. Waiting completion, I guess it's because I canceled it. Anyway, so I look at, as the initiator, I look at the documents that were submitted. I'll look at the responses. And if I say this is good, then I can just type in submit. Then once I hit concur, what the task will do is move it on to the next stage, and that would be Mr. McClure. So now Mr. McClure can have a whole lot of fun with this. Okay, so I'm going to do the control F5 to refresh the page, and the active here will turn to complete, and the pending here will turn to active. Sorry, our database is just a little slow. And the process will take some time. It doesn't go as quick as what we just did because to have people look at it, and the staffing process will be the staffing process. All it is electronic, and it creates this audit trail for you. So now let me scroll down after it validates my cat card once again. And I will show you that my first stage should be complete. And unless Mr. McClure is racing ahead like a rabbit, this stage should be active. So there it is, complete, active. The last stage is still pending because the second stage has not taken any action. All right, and that is how to submit an approval route. Any questions on that? I will pause. Well, that's all I have to get you guys started in using TMT. If you have a license and you have access and you want to go ahead and practice, please do so. I would recommend strongly that you all put test in the subject. That way, when you're done playing with the database, you can then clear out those, I'll call them cobwebs because they'll just hang there forever. Remember that sometime in June, early June, right now they're projecting the 7th, we're going to flip to AMC. So all the IMCOM designators will change to AMC for new tasks. For old tasks, they will still say IMCOM until they're complete. If you have no questions, that's all I have for you. Today with the database, you know, see if you, as you're working through it, you find things that we didn't cover that you might be interested, send us an email, give us a call on the phone. There's a lot of things in here that I have not covered, as creating views, audit trails. I don't know if we have any auditors, but you technically pick any task, just go around them. And you see the, it's updating my cat card, sorry. So for those who are interested in what the database does in terms of auditing, so after you select your task, you can click on this down arrow and you see the audit history. What the database will do is show you exactly what was done with the database. I mean, what was done with this particular action from the time it was created, right? Time it was closed out. Who touched it, when they touched it, etc., etc. Not really. Just kidding. Mark is yelling over the cube that he completed the routing approval, so he wants me to show you the completed route. So as soon as it authenticates my cat card, I will scroll down. This is the completed route. So Mark is the CTO, so he completed whatever he needed to complete, and then he went in and approved it as the. So here's his comments: submit for approval, completion, and then he should have. He should have completed, signed and approved is what he sent out. Okay, any questions? If not, thanks for your time. Appreciate it. That's all I have for you.